You're welcome back. It's still Daybreak here on Trust TV, and it's time for our discussion segments. We'll be talking about, I would like to say it's a kind of continuation of our discussion we had yesterday, where we looked at the reintegration of ex-repentant Boko Haram members, and we also touched a bit on the plight of refugees and people in IDPs. So yes, we're going to be having a conversation on that today on the show this morning. Now, the Federal Commissioner for the National Commission of Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Tijjani Aliyu, has revealed that over 6.1 million refugees are currently in northern Nigeria. Speaking in Abuja, Aliyu announced that Nigeria is prepared to receive more refugees from the United States. He also stated that as the new chair of the Rabat process, Nigeria will push for relaxed global immigration laws affecting African countries. Nigeria's leadership role in the Rabat process was formalized at a meeting in Portugal on January 29th and 30th, 2025. And as chair, Nigeria will focus on youth and innovation, regular migration, migration data management, human rights, climate change impact, anti-human trafficking efforts, and reintegration strategies. So this morning we have Aliyu Ahmed-Tijjani, Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs, as we'll be talking about how to address the issues of refugees in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, and also Nigerians who are coming back into the country. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, most welcome.
All right, let us give an overview of everything that's happening first before we get to understand the Rabat process a tad bit. But could you provide an overview of the current, situation regarding, refugees and IDPs and migrants in Nigeria at the moment?
Thank you very much. When you are talking about refugees, you are talking about people who left their country to another country as a result of social upheavals, such as the Boko Haram, kidnapping, banditry. As a result of these forces, people leave their place of abode. This movement can either be internal or external movement. It is internal when they leave their own place of abode and to another area within the country. Then those we refer to them as IDPs, internally displaced persons. But if they live out of Nigeria, for instance, go and settle in Cameroon, in Niger or in Chad, and then decided to apply for a status to be a refugee, then we refer to them as refugees in another country. As it is today, we have over 100,000 Nigerian refugees. Of course, in some cases, some international partners, they said we have over 400,000 refugees living outside this country. But the few profiled ones, which is Cameroon, Niger and Chad, we have over 100,000 of them. Like in Cameroon, we have about 53,000 Nigerians who are refugees in Cameroon. And when you go to Niger, we have over 25,000 of them in Cameroon. And in Chad, we have almost about 20,000 Nigerians that are living as refugees in Chad. Of recent, about last week, I was in Chad alongside with the Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and the Governor of Borno State. We've gone to Chad. An agreement was signed between Nigeria, the Chadian government, and then the United Nations Commissioners on Refugees, that is UNHCR, where we signed a tripartite agreement to return Nigerians who are living in Chad, who voluntarily want to return back to the country. We repatriate them. We have begun to repatriate them back to the country now. Last week, I think by Sunday last week, we have almost repatriated 3,000 Nigerians from Chad to Borno State, because most of the refugees that are living in Chad, Cameroon, are mostly from Borno State, Adamawa, and Yobe State. So, and when you talk about IDPs, these are those that move within the confine of Nigerian territory, who were displaced as a result of Boko Haram, as a result of kidnapping, as a result of banditry. And they decided to leave their place of abode and to another place. Take, for instance, as a result of Boko Haram in Maiduguri, more than 80% of the IDPs that we have here in Abuja FCT were from Goza. Goza is from Borno State. So in that manner, we have a lot of them from Yobe, some from Kebbi State, and some from Adamawa State. This is the situation as it is today. And I have said we have not less than 6.1 million displaced individuals within Nigeria. Put the refugees aside.
So what are the plans? First of all, let's even start with challenges. We have more than 6.1 million within Nigeria, and we're bringing more into the country. What are the challenges that has been faced so far to properly manage and support this set of people?
Yes, for those that are living within the country, more than half of this number, about 3 million, were living within the host communities. They didn't live in the camp. That is why the number the international communities are giving, they put it for 3.1 million. They are considering those that are living right away in the camps. And in Nigeria, we have no less than 139 camps across the country. But when you put together, including those that are living within the host communities, you will not have less than 6.1 million Nigerians that are displaced. Looking at that kind of situation and considering the paucity of funds, where it is expected that those that are living in the camp will be taken care of in terms of providing them with care and support. In this case now we are talking about providing them with some livelihood support. I don't think Nigeria can manage this situation. And that is why the National Commissions for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons decided to come up with building of displaced cities across the country. We have one IDP city in Chad and Katsina. We have one in Maiduguri. We have one in Nasarawa State. And then we have another one in Zamfara. Together, we are trying to see how we can build some of these cities across where we have chunk of displaced persons. Take for instance those that are living in FCT here. If you ask them that do they voluntarily want to leave the city and back to Goza, they will tell you no. But we cannot continue to keep them in the camp here in Abuja. So we constructed a resettlement city in Kefi, just about 60 kilometers away from Abuja. And already we have profiled about 40 households. What I mean by 40 households, in a household you can get about 6 persons in a household. Now we are providing 40 households a place to live in Kefi. Names we have been profiled, including their children, that we are going to relocate them to our settlement cities situated in Kefi. And in the city there, we have provided a lot of amenities there.
So what are the plans? Because like it or not, home is home.
That is no. But most of them may not want to go back home.
But for those who do want to go back home, is there a collaboration with security agencies to ensure that home is somewhat safe for them to go back home to?
Of course, we have been carrying out advocacy, informing them about the security situation in the country. I think everybody knows that for now, the security is better than what it used to be before. But however, for those that they may not want to return back to the house, to their homes, of course, we are providing an alternative for them, like the one I have just mentioned in Kefi. A lot of them accepted to relocate to Kefi rather than to continue staying here in FCT, where tomorrow they will send them from this end to the other end. It's better for them to to go and live in the resettlement city, which we provided for them in Kefi, just about 60 kilometers away. You can leave Kefi, come and do whatever thing you want to do here in Abuja and return back to Kefi without any problem. The road is okay. Federal government are putting the roads in good shape. So it's just Kefi and Abuja are just like the same. Because,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the Ramat process. With a nation like Nigeria grappling with its own level of, internally displaced persons and refugees and migrants with an alarming number, would you say we're at the right point in time to chair such a process?
You see, when you are talking about the Ramat process, we are talking about what do you call it? Dialogue. A dialogue. It is a dialogue between Euro-African countries on migration. Nigeria have been shouting now youths are leaving this country, moving out of the country, seeking for greener pasture, and so on and so forth. And the rate at which Nigerians youths are leaving this country is alarming. Nigeria has now become a member of the Rabat process. And eventually, we've taken over the leadership of the Rabat process. Usually, leadership on Rabat process is just for a year. So Nigeria is going to pretend over a Rabat process between January 2025 to January 2026. And I have mentioned earlier the advantages we will derive. When the youths are leaving, sometimes they want to leave to seek for greener pastures. Sometimes they leave in order to go and get additional qualification or education. In this case, you cannot stop anybody from moving because movement is natural. People move. People always move. If people are always moving, let them move in a regular way. And since many of the youths want to leave to search for greener pasture, and they are having it very difficult to gain the visa, they tend to go through the irregular means. That's why you see sometimes across the Mediterranean Sea or across the Sahara route, you see many of them dying, some of them suffering, and along the line, most of them have been arrested. If you go to Libya now, we have a lot of Nigerians that have been locked up there, although we have started evacuating them back to the country. So in this situation, our membership in the Rabat process, I think we will try to see how we can influence the issuance of visa with a less conditions. It is the conditions that is making most of them to go through the irregular way. So now that we are becoming the president, we are now the president of the Rabat process. I think this is the best time now for us to influence decisions at the Rabat process. And not only influencing them, also to lobby other African countries and the European countries too, who are also members of the Rabat process. Because in the Rabat process, we have about 57 countries as membership of the Rabat process. I think with the leadership of Nigeria, we should be able to influence some of the key decisions. And one of it is how we can soften visa accusation by our Nigerian youth and any other person that might want to leave this country.
Okay.
And not only that, the more our youth leave this country to searching for greener pastures, and we're able to have a gainful opportunity there, certainly the remittances that we normally receive from our Nigerians that are in diaspora working, of course, that will be a great improvement. This is another aspect of the importance that we may derive by the time we were able to influence the softening of getting visa by our Nigerians, youth and other individuals that might want to leave this country for other things outside the country.
Basically, okay, I get that part now, and I believe our listeners have also gotten that part as well. But let's come back now to the refugees and the IDPs. I would love to throw light a bit on the IDPs. We're seeing reintegration process happening for repentant Boko Haram. Is there any role that is being played to have a certain level of psychological support for the IDPs, and also helping them with long life skill that would not just make them dependent on the government but establish themselves?
Yeah, I think what we are trying to provide now is what we refer to as durable solutions to our IDPs. A solution that will make them endure their life and then have a support in whatever situations. One, the National Commission for Refugees decided to come up with a skill acquisition center. Skill acquisition center in 6 geopolitical zones. We've started building the one now in Niger State for North Central. In this skill acquisition, it is intended to train the IDPs, give them various type of trade to learn, and eventually we exit them from the camp. After learning the trade, we give them support so that they can go and be on their own. This is another durable solution that we are now providing for the IDPs. And each of these settlement cities that we built, it was built alongside with a skill acquisition center within the camp, within the city, where if we relocate you to, for instance, to Kefi now, we have a skill acquisition center in Kefi. We will train the IDPs there. We will now give them a support so that they can live their life. In the situation, we have a mini market there. If they can produce more than what they can eat, of course, the market is there for them to get what they can put in their pockets. We are also making arrangement with the locals, the local traditional leaders around the city there now, providing them with land where they can farm. And not only that, we are beginning now to construct greenhouses in each of these camps now. So for those that are living in the camp, these greenhouses, they can plant all that they need in terms of tomato, pepper, and so on and so forth. They use it to sell it, and at the same time also make use of it in providing food for themselves, as against waiting for government always to feed them. This is another durable solution that we are now providing for our IDPs.
Okay, one major question that I always ask, and I believe Nigerians always ask, is it's beyond the speaking, like we're speaking now. How involved are you personally in the implementation, going to this place to see it?
This Friday, today, we're on our way to Kefi to see the situation of the camp. And not only that, to see other facilities that are not available so that we can provide. Already we have engaged somebody to involve this solar light. As you go this evening to Kefi, you will see solar light in all the areas of the settlement cities. And now we are trying to provide lightning points in each of their rooms so that they can power their telephones, power it. And also not only that, also they can use the light, of course, for computer, because we have started giving them computer training. As of yesterday, I was in the Daybreak camp, where we have commissioned our computer center, where we are training the IDP boys there that are living, because most of them are dropped out in secondary schools, and they have the intention to learn about computer. So we have established computer center there. Yesterday we commissioned it, and we are giving them training. The same thing we are going to do in each of these camps, just to provide them with livelihood.
So how sustainable is this, especially for the amount of refugees and IDPs we have? Are you saying if you're giving it a broader look,
no.
in how long do you think would have a reduction in displaced people generally in Nigeria?
Yes, now, as we are doing now, for instance, that is what we call the New Hope Agricultural Project, which we introduced. You know, most of these displaced persons, more than 50 or 60% of them are farmers.
So how sustainable is all these projects? Because we see one thing where it comes up, but over time it wears off. So how sustainable are these projects, and would we see a reduction in displaced people?
See, with these houses, with these cities that we've constructed, we are giving them to stay there permanently. You understand? And then gradually also, by the time you are okay, you can do everything for yourself. Of course, somebody will say that I may no longer live here. Then there will be substitution by what? Bringing in other ones. As you move out, another person will come in. This is how we want to do it. But the only thing that is sustainable is to teach them skills. And that's what we are trying to do. Okay. So that they can sustain themselves. Well, if you said you want to continue giving them food to eat.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
True that.
And that is why we have introduced the Rehab Farming Now project for them, so that for those that are farmers, they go into farming. Now we have skill acquisition centers. We will train them in various trades, in mechanics, in repairs of telephones, in computer training, and so on and so forth. This is more sustainable than giving them food items all the
palliatives.
time.
It's really
palliatives,
good.
Yes.
It's not the first time we've spoken about it here on Trust TV that we talk about creating sustainable means. Nigerians are hardworking people and they want to make money for themselves to sustain themselves. So this is a good move. But be rest assured that we have listeners who like to hold people accountable, and they are watching and they have listened. And we believe that we're definitely going to bring you back here. This is a very short session. We're definitely going to bring you back here to answer certain questions.
And I want to tell you that I'm going to invite you so that you will see things for yourself.
Personally,
by the time we are relocating these IDPs that are living in Abuja FCT here to Kefi.
We would love to have that.
I think today we are going to do final checking of the city. And then we have already in discussion with the Emir of Kefi. We are also in discussion with the Nigerian police, because last week we visited the Commissioner of Police in Nasarawa State. We are also in discussion with the Subeb
for everything
for teachers, because we have schools in the resettlement city. We have a school.
The point is, we are going to follow up because we are concerned about the plight of IDPs and refugees and people who are coming to Nigeria. So we're going to follow up, and we look forward to the follow-up.
And I want to assure you that until I leave this office, continue to follow. You see the kind of development we're going to have.
We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it.
I assure you that one.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this show this morning. It's quite, we've had lots of questions about the plight of IDPs, and it's good to see that something is being done, which we're going to follow up to be sure that it continues. Thank you very much. We're having a chat with Aliyu Ahmed-Tijjani, Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs. A couple of Nigerians asked questions yesterday about the plight of IDPs when we spoke about rehabilitation of repentant Boko Haram. I said, what about the victims? What is happening to the victims and also to refugees who are coming back? So this, I believe, has been an eye-opening, conversation that, something might just be happening, which we do intend to follow up in the long run to be sure that what is being spoken about is being implemented. I mean, what are we if we don't hold our government officials accountable at the end of the day? Well, we've come to the end of this segment. I hope you're able to pick out something from the conversation we've had today. Do stay tuned. Right after the break, we'll be looking at stories that made it to the front pages of our dailies. We'll be right back.